Would Miss Lindsay Nicole Crutchfield please come forward to be recognized as Valedictorian of the class of 2011? Ms. Lindsay.
Whether you've been here for 13 years or just one, I think we can all agree that Beechwood is a wonderful place to go to school. Its unique community has given many of us a chance to grow up together. Out of a class of 79, 28 of us have been here since kindergarten. Today you see great students, athletes, and leaders. For some of us though, we still see the nose pickers, whiners, tattletales, and goody two-shoes. Believe it or not, I remember when Jackson and Joey used to eat M&Ms covered in glue. Some of us remember back to first grade when we were Tebbies or Colehead kids or Cubs in the Wolf Den. Many of us owe tooth fairy money to Mrs. Wolf, who was the expert when it came to pulling teeth. Those of us in Mrs. Beasley or Mr. P's classes remember their classroom romance, which we kind of made up. No one could forget Matt Martin's stellar performance as the baloney in one of our twisted fairy tale plays, Hansel and Pretzel, as he proceeded to fall down mid-line upon his exit from the stage. Even though we were young at the time and didn't fully grasp what was going on, I'm sure many of us remember watching the planes crash into the Twin Towers on 9/11. Looking back, I think it's pretty special that we all shared that tragedy together. By 4th grade, we started forming clubs like the Santa Believers Club, prompted by the formation of the Santa Non-Believers Club, and even the Logan Buck Fan Club, but we won't elaborate on that one. In 5th grade, we started switching classes, an intimidating system that we soon got the hang of. Things weren't looking good in 6th grade when we had to have frequent girl meetings in which we were counseled about how to treat one another. Our class was the only class that the teachers felt required a second trip to Camp Joy, to help our teamwork issues. Before we knew it, it was time to enter high school. Although we've since been split up into different classes, we've shared classroom memories from some of our interesting classes. Despite our separation, we watched throughout high school as many of our classmates came out of their shells. We'll always remember Megan for showering us with facts about random sea creatures like the axolotl, drawing the most interesting cartoons on every inch of board she could cover, always having something hilarious to say about even the most boring subjects, and especially growing her abilities as a speaker from someone who had trouble reading her wonderful stories aloud to someone who excels in speech and drama. We'll always remember Forrest for eating Mr. Fisher's verb help sheets, asking the most random but very thoughtful questions, and for ceaselessly spraying the Fruity Pebbles scent all over Mr. O'Connor's classroom. And even though he's also intelligent and easy to talk to, many of us will remember Joey for his large muscles and tips about lifting. I think some of our greatest memories, however, have come from the past 2 years. A majority of us were on the junior trip to Boston, where we were brought together by cute foreign boys, drunken women in the cemetery, and even seeing Mr. Jones hoisted on Mr. Zimmerman's shoulders, which gave everyone something to laugh at or worry about. That trip and all of our support of each other preparing for our ACT, I think, really brought us together last year. Senior year would take forever to talk about, but a few highlights would include decorating school for the first day, cheering on all of our wonderful senior athletes, being watched by Big Boy in Mr. O'Connor's class, being surprised as the sexy sax man burst from the cafeteria annex with his careless whisper, and watching the boys' butts return from the zoo to unload a giant pack of shirtless boys dead set on catching Mrs. Webb in a giant group hug. Not to be too cliche, but we really have shared wonderful experiences at Beechwood. Even our bad experiences have brought us closer and taught us about one another. Together we've gone from the elementary tornado to mature adults, or more mature at least. Our experiences have taught us how to be good students, but I think more importantly, good people. When we come back to reunions with stretch marks and bald heads, we'll be able to remember the people, events, and places that began our lives.